Hello all, welcome to our ROS2 series. In the previous episode, we understood what ROS2 is, why it was developed, and how it connects different robot components. Now, it is time to prepare our development environment. In this episode, we will first select the right ROS2 distribution, then we will install the ROS2 on Ubuntu, and finally install the Terminator for more convenient multi-terminal workflow. Before installing ROS2, we need to choose a distribution. Now I'm just opening the official ROS2 distribution page. So you can type here ROS2 distributions and let's search for it. And you can open the first link here, the distributions of ROS2 documentation. So a ROS2 distribution usually called as a distro. So it is a version collection of ROS2 packages. It gives us a relatively stable software base for the environment. Now you can look at the different distributions so far released. An interesting detail is that a new ROS2 distribution is normally released every year around 23rd, May 23rd. So which is the World Turtle Day. So they are releasing a new version every year on this date. And the names also follows the alphabetical order. So if you see, for example, here is the humble, so H, and iron begins with I, Jazzy begins with J, Kilted begins with K, and Lyrical begins with L. So the names may sound playful, but this sequence is systematic. Like it starts from alphabetical letters, and if I scroll down, you can see the first alpha and beta versions are released by 2017. From 2017, we have every year one series. It starts from letter A, B, C, D, and so on. And we can also look at here after the logo EOL date, which is a end of life. So EOL stands for end of life. So after a distribution reaches this end of life, it no longer receives normal official updates or bug fixes and security maintenance. Therefore, for a new project, we should normally avoid using a distribution that has already reached EOL. Another important point is that not every ROS2 distribution has the same support period. For example, if you see the humble, so it's released on 2022 and the support we can get it until 2027. Some distributions are supported for approximately 5 years like this humble. So these are the long-term choices and are normally better for the courses, research projects and systems that need a stable platform. Other distributions have a much shorter support period, often around 18 months, like 1.5 years. If you see after the humble, iron is released in 2023 and the support is ended by December 2024, exactly 1.5 years. So every year if it released a long-term support, and after that we will get the short-term support, and again one long-term support in the next year, and after that there is a short-term support. Like Kilted is released in 2025 and its support is ended by December 2026. So why do we short support distributions exist? Actually, they allow developers to access newer features, libraries and platforms update sooner. They are useful for testing new capabilities and preparing software for future releases. However, they also require more frequent upgrades. Some third-party drivers, simulation tools or robot packages may need time before they fully supported a newly released distribution. And for beginners and longer projects, I generally prefer a well supported and mature distribution. A very new LTS release may look attractive, just like Lyrical Loot, which is released just 2 months before May 2026. But before changing to it, I would first check whether all required packages, robot driver simulations, and tutorials are working correctly. Okay, so because always it takes few months to make a stabilization, at least 6 months after the release date, that would be nice to test it. So because of the same, for this course we will use ROS2 Jazzy Jalisco. And this distribution still we have end of life May 2029. And because it's released in 2024 and it is designed to work for the Ubuntu mission. So now the very important question is, for each distribution, the Ubuntu specific version we have to install in our PC. For example, if I click on the Jazzy Jalisco here, and we can check the supported platforms. And if you click on the supported platforms, they clearly mention, so we need a Ubuntu 24.04. So this is not the same. For example, if I go back and search for another ROS2 distribution, for example, Humble in this case, if I'm opening it and again if I'm getting to the supported platform, now which we have to install only on Ubuntu 22.04. Now Jazzy is on 24 and Humble is on 22 Ubuntu versions. So which is very important. If you are targeted to install one ROS2 distribution, so we have to check the Ubuntu version and first install the Ubuntu version on our PC, then we have to install the ROS2. Now I will open the Ubuntu installation page. So as we selected the Jazzy Jalisco and we checked the Ubuntu version, now there is an official page. We can type in the Google like ROS2 Jazzy installation. Once if you type this, you can open the first link, installation ROS2 documentation. Here they will explain all points in detail how to install the ROS2 in our mission. Always use the installation page for your selected distribution. For example, if you targeted for Humble, please open that particular web page, not on Jazzy Jalisco. So and do not copy the commands from different ROS2 version, because the distribution name, operating system versions, repositories and package names may be different. The process is same, so each distribution they explain in detail on their respective web pages. I will keep the official documentation open on one side and the terminal on the other side. So let me open the terminal here. Now if you scroll down, so as we are the Ubuntu version, then you can open the deb packages, which is the recommended. And after opening this, the each and every step they explain in detail from here. Step 1, we have to set the local. The first block sets the system local is ROS2 expects a UTF-8 local. Actually, a local controls the settings such as languages, character encoding and the regional text handling. The block checks the current configuration and install the required local supports if necessary and generates the UTF-8 local and activates it. For most users, this is only a preparation step. So first copy this one line by line. I am just pasting here. To paste into the terminal, shortcut key is Ctrl+Shift+V. So it's not Ctrl+V. Even if you want to copy or paste something from the terminal, so we have to use the Ctrl+Shift+C for the copy, Ctrl+Shift+V for the paste. So I'm just pasting here. I already installed locally on my PC, so that's why it's already given UTF-8. So if you are doing for the first time, please copy line by line from the documentation and you can paste it here. So this is sudo apt update. So I'm just updating the sudo application, and here we need to set our password and type the password. It will take some time here. And similarly, we have to install everything line by line, so which will set our the local here. So nothing is upgraded, so everything is already upgraded before that. So here you can see that. So this is the next line, and again I am just copy pasting here the third line, and we are exporting this, the last one. And again you can check the local here, Ctrl+Shift+V and enter, so which is already there. Now here also you can see the description for each part. They briefly described so what actually the next piece of block is doing here. And of course we can also copy paste everything, so directly you can press this button copied, and you can also do here. But the only thing is we lost the control, so you can it will start executing line by line all the lines together. And then yeah, sometimes if you want to check in detail what each code is doing, then please copy paste line by line. So otherwise we can also do the complete block of set of the code once copy from the documentation, and you can also paste it there. And the next step is enable the required repositories. So it requires the Ubuntu repositories and adds the official ROS2 package sources. Ubuntu uses repositories to locate and download the software. So that's why here there are two sessions, and we need to copy each line one by one, and we have to do the installation. So actually by adding this ROS2 repository, we just tell the Ubuntu where the official ROS2 Jazzy packages are available. And the commands also install the repository keys. This allows the system to verify that the download packages come from the expected source or not. Okay, so this is the repository source. So we already updated, so that's why it's not asking anything. And we are just adding the universal to all the repositories. And we have to press enter, so it will continue. So after adding the repositories, we run an update. So here is the update thing. So you can copy paste it here. And it will update the repository configuration. Just will occur automatically whenever the new version of the package are released, then ROS2 repositories will be collected. So here you can export this line. So make sure you just copied the complete line till here. Copy and paste it here. And another way, you can also double click so that it complete line will be copied, and you can paste it here. So you can see it's already there, so that's why it took very less time for me, but in your case it may take some time to update and upgrade the packages, and just adding these kernels to the repositories and etc. Okay, perfect. Until now it's perfect. After adding this repository, we have to run an update, so which is already done, and this does not yet install the ROS2. So we just made the repositories, and we tell the Ubuntu so where the Jazzy is installed. And now it refreshes the package list, so Ubuntu can see the newly available ROS2 packages. Now we have to install the ROS2 Jazzy. So this is a main step. Now here we have install ROS2 packages, two things, so sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. So we have to do this repeatedly, but recently we did, so we can skip this one. And the very important thing is there are two options. The first one is desktop option, and the second one is base install. For example, in the desktop installation, it is the complete packages which is actually recommended, because by default it will install all supporting simulation tutorials, demos like RVs, etc., gazebo and everything. Whereas ROS2 base install, it is a combination of only the libraries, messages, packages and command lines. You don't get any GUI tools in it, so which is very bare minimum ROS packages if you use this command, the second command, something like this. So actually it is required when you are deploying everything on the smaller hardware like Raspberry Pi and something else. But if you are installing on your PC, I strongly recommend to install the desktop version. Okay, so I will run the installation command, and we can confirm the permission from the Ubuntu. So just I'm simply copy and paste it here. So again I'm just installing the desktop version. So it will read everything and just fetch the data to install everything. But I already set up the Jazzy desktop, so that's why it took very less time for me. So once it finishes, the main ROS2 Jazzy is available on the computer. Now for your case it may take longer, so please wait until it finish. Once if it is done successfully without any error, we are successfully installed the ROS2 Jazzy in our PC. Now here the problem is, for example, when I'm just doing a ROS2 development and I need to frequently open the several terminals actually at the same time. This terminal is not intuitive. Like for example, if I wanna zoom in, so the font of the text is not good, so I cannot zoom in here, and I cannot split these windows like horizontal and vertically, because if I wanna run another node, and if you, or else if you wanna display some topic information or opening many separate terminals, windows can quickly become difficult to manage. So this is why we will install the Terminator. So here the installation of the Terminator, the command is very simple. So for example, let me clear all these things. Now if you type sudo apt install Terminator, so okay, so if you type this one, it will install a new interface, so which is the Terminator. Okay, it's already installed. So if I am opening it, so this is a Terminator, you can find it here, the icon, or else you can also go there and search for the Terminator. Once if it is open, now you see, for example, now if I use the control and mouse scroll, I can zoom in, so I can increase the font size. And I wanted to open multiple terminals, for example, then I can right click and I can use the split horizontally, so that I got the two terminals here in the Terminator. So I can also split vertically here and one more here, split vertically. So you can open a multiple windows in the same interface. Okay, so it is the beauty of it. So it is allowing us to split one window horizontal or vertically. This makes it easy to run several ROS2 commands, so side by side, while keeping everything visible on one organized workspace. So I can track what happens actually in one node and on the topic, another simple service, for example. Okay, so it's not required for ROS2, but it makes the practical workflow much more comfortable. So that's why I recommend to you install the Terminator and start writing program or the commands in the Terminator. That's all for today. In the next episode, we will source the ROS environment and try some interesting example. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.